Good morning. I come to you a little bit sick, if you can hear. This whole thing might be edited a lot and lots of cuts, but I'm here to talk about heirlooms and how you can make them. So I first got into quilting last year, and it was when I found out I was having a boy, and I knew him and my other son would share a room, so I was like, I'm going to make them matching quilts. And I thought they were going to be exact, but they kind of starting quilting with no plan resulted in kind of mismatched quilts. So I'm going to show you the quilt top of August's, I think, and then I'm almost done hand quilting Kait's upstairs. So they all have the same fabrics, but one of them has a little bit more brown, and then Kait's has a bit more beige. So I found the sawtooth star pattern, and I just fell in love with it. I think it's so classic. You can see all of that. And then I found all of this cute little fabric, like these little horses, and then I have chickens. It's upside down. But and then I just love all of this brown that I did. So I started off just making sawtooth stars, and I didn't have a plan, and like usually when you start quilting, and what's really helpful is that you get a bundle and all this fabric that matches or from the same company. And so I didn't do that. And so it took a lot longer, obviously this is a year later, to put it together. And I finally got it done at about Canadian Thanksgiving, October. And then I started hand quilting it, and I finally finished it. It's upstairs, just kind of hanging out on our pickler triangle. That's like a fold-up climbing toy my father-in-law made based on like a real one. And yeah, I've been just plugging away at hand sewing it and finishing it. And so I'm almost done, so I thought I would show that, and then I would put this together with some batting. And yeah, I have a bunch of other projects that I'm just finishing, and I just wanted to have a slow day, and I love hand sewing, so that's what I'm doing today. In the corner here, I'll show you my quilt that I'm currently working on. This is a quilt that I started this year. It's like my first one, and it's called a diamond and a square pattern. And let me just find it. My sister-in-law gave me this book, where this is from. And if you've seen my other video, I talk more about this quilt and all the inspiration, because I teach how to do it, and I'll link that at some point here. So I found this quilt inspiration, and I love how you can kind of see a star going around here with all the dark pieces. And I love just the mix of colors. I love traditional quilts in that they aren't perfectly matched. Like this is called a scrap quilt book, and these aren't scraps, but I kind of love the idea of it being mostly brown and white, and then like a little bit of pink, which is kind of what this is. This is mostly black and brown with a little bit of blue. And so that's my idea for this. I have it on my design wall. I just added these two fabrics yesterday because I didn't have enough. And yeah, again, I have no plan. I just started it, and then I wanted to see how big it was gonna get. So I'll show you how big it's gonna be ish. Like I'm gonna use up all my fabric that I can and see what size it becomes, and just really enjoy the process, because I love this fabric. This is so pretty. Yeah, I got this fabric is like this cottage one, and I cut out all the houses for it because I thought I was having a girl. I was convinced. And I have my sweet boy, but that was my inspo, and now it's my quilt. And it's just a combination of a lot of fabric that I absolutely love. This design wall has been so helpful with just planning it all out, and I'll show you some footage. August, I just needed 5 more minutes to like finish something yesterday, and August was being really fussy. So I put him close to this, and he tore down the bottom half of my quilt. So I will show you that. But it was worth it, just to grab a couple extra minutes sewing. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to do the other quilts. I'll take you upstairs. I'll show you the size of this actually, and then I will take the go grab the quilt and show you that upstairs, and just sit and hand sew and have some tea. Yeah, and just try and relax and rest enough to get over this sickness. this is Kait's quilt, I think. They keep changing their minds about, well, he keeps changing his mind about which one he likes, and then at one point he just didn't know the difference. So we'll see when we get there. I like to use a flannel backing. I find that so soft. It's my favorite type of backing to do for a quilt. Usually you just do a normal like quilting cotton. And then, yeah, I just have this line left. When I first got into quilting, I really wanted to do something by hand. And I thought that was really romantic. So I got this quilting by hand book, and this is what helped me get started on this. So this is Sashiko thread, Sashiko needles, and that is a Japanese form of repairing, of stitching, and it's basically a running stitch, but it's just with very thick thread. As you can see, it has this really beautiful handmade like look to it, which is what I really wanted. For an heirloom piece, I really wanted the boys, and I'm going to do this with my girls too, I think. I really wanted my kids to see something that I had done by hand, and hopefully they have it forever, and then they know that I put so much work and love into this, and yeah, they can just see that it was done by a person. And I love that idea. I think that is so thoughtful. Like I don't think you can make many heirlooms these days, so I feel like they hopefully will love it. Hopefully will cherish it. Yeah, and they will always have it as a reminder of me. So I'm going to do this last line. I marked all of this with one of those heat pens, like the Frisian ones. I'll link that. And then it will just disappear with heat. Alright, I am finally done this quilt. So I'm going to make the binding. I'm going to use bias binding. You can do straight binding too. I don't have a lot of experience with binding. I did self-binding for my last quilt, which was for my mom at Christmas. And self-binding is where you take the backing, the bottom, and you pull it up and fold it to sew it down for binding. And so I just asked my sister-in-law, who's much more experienced at quilting, and she told me bias binding is better in her opinion because she doesn't get bunches and it just works nicer. So I'm in the process of that. There's instructions everywhere on the internet for that if you are interested. And yeah, I'm going to make the binding, and then I'm going to trim the quilt, and then I'm going to sew along the very edge to keep everything together and nice and tight. And then I'm going to hand sew the binding tonight and tomorrow. Okay. You're so sweet. I know. Augie reminded me that it was lunchtime, right, Augie? And we've been having soup. This is called cheeseburger soup. I know, he ran out. My mother-in-law made it, and it's like my sister-in-law's recipe, so I'll give it to you because it's so good. And so I'm just cutting that up for him. And my favorite way to do soup for babies is like to dip bread in it and then cut it up. And using kitchen scissors is really, really nice and easy. These are, he's like, give me more. These stay in the drawer with our scissors and are only used for food. So, I know, I'm almost done. And it just makes nice little quick squares. And he can enjoy the soup with us. I know, yeah, I'm coming. Ready? Okay. Okay, and while he eats, I'm going to work on trimming the edge of my quilt. This is the only way, if I really want to get a project done, this is the best way to get it done, is just bring him around with me. Like, he's not moving yet, so it's easy. But, yeah, he can sit and eat while I get some stuff done. Right, Augie? Oh, you're running out already. More? I just discovered one part I didn't stitch. Almost done. Almost done. That looks so good. What do you think? Hey? Alright, I have all of my binding ironed. I think I cut too much, so I didn't iron all of it. So I have more if this doesn't work out. But I wanted to mention that Augie is a very, very easy baby, and I normally don't get a lot done with kids, and I want to say that's very normal. Like, if sometimes the best thing, the most I could get done, and the things that bother me the most is having a clean table, having the dishwasher clean, and having a load of laundry, like, going in some way. Like, sometimes we just lived out of laundry baskets. But he's just a very easy baby. He's a good napper. And I just wanted to say that if your baby doesn't look like this, look at you found your soother. That's normal. One of my kids, I had two of my girls close together, and one of them was really, really, really challenging. Like, she really wanted to just be on me all the time, which is normal. It was just very hard for me. And I actually couldn't do a baby carrier or baby wearing with my son, with Kit, because I was so out-touched from it. So, yeah, I'm just wanted to mention that it's not perfect, and he is really easy. And I know that, yeah, maybe that's not your experience. And I'm here for you. Please write in the comments about, like, the challenges you have. Like, I'm here to listen, and everyone else can support you. It's challenging sometimes with babies. Now, once he starts moving, the challenging time for me is when they start moving until they're 3 years old. I have a very, very tough time with toddlerhood. So, my tough time is coming. I love newborns, and I love, like, up to this stage. They're so sweet. And yeah, my challenging years are coming up, and I find school age really lovely. So, so there we go. Okay, so now I am attaching my binding like this. It's folded over, and I'm doing I'm aligning the raw edges, and then I'm gonna turn this over, and then I will sew it on the other hand, sew it closed on the other side. I might have Augie sit with me because he's getting so close to his nap that he is just sick of it. We're almost there, buddy. And yeah, so we'll do that. I don't normally have him sit with me because he can grab things, and so piecing little quilt pieces together, squares, does not work, but I think we can handle this. All right, Augie went to sleep, and I just finished, took me about a half hour into his nap to finish doing the binding. So now all I do is, you can see that, all I do is fold this over, and then I think I'm gonna sew a straight stitch. My sister-in-law who quilts just did that, and it looks really nice. So I'm gonna sit down with a cup of coffee and rest and do that. I was gonna talk about books this time. So I read 3 books in January. I read The Kite Runner, I read The Lion Women of Turan, and I read All the Colors of the Dark. All I would recommend. The Kite Runner, didn't love this main character. This is like a classic now, so I think a lot of people have read it. But it's just an incredible story. I love historical fiction. I love learning about our history this way. So it's an amazing, tragic story. Many bad things happen, but a great writing around all of that. The Lion Women of Turan, love women, like friendship-centered books. This is about 2 women in Iran starting in the 1950s, and then they go through all the political turmoil that happens, and they both just kind of go in 2 separate directions. One of them is a political activist, and one of them she kind of stays on like the very safe side to kind of survive the time. And so it just shows the decisions, like the decisions they make and like what happened. And it's really beautiful. Again, great story around really tragic circumstances. And All the Colors of the Dark was a beautiful book. It was mostly about grief. There's like a very traumatic event that happens, and it changes everybody's trajectory and like the town that it like happened in. So it's about grief and obsession, and it's just beautiful, beautiful, sad book. I love that one. I just finished The Dictionary of Lost Words, which was really cool. So it's about the making of the Oxford Dictionary and how it took like years and years, and it was about this woman's perspective. So she was a child of one of the lexicographers, if I'm pronouncing that right. So she grew up with this dictionary being made, and she was one of the people to finally see it being made. But in the way, they talk about all the words that were rejected and all the women-centered words that were rejected, and people who like the slang and like words that were more popular and well-known around like people who were poor, and like whether that should be included in the dictionary. And it's a really cool read. And then I'm reading currently The Berry Pickers. So just partway through that one, and I will let you know how I feel about that one. Everything I read is usually like 4 stars or above on Goodreads. So usually Goodreads, literally. So I'm gonna go do this in the living room with a cup of coffee, maybe a cookie. Let's see. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Hopefully I'll feel better. I have the library tomorrow, so I really want to feel better. Like, hopefully I can dress up. This weather is crazy. And I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully with a lot of this done. And have a good night. Okay, hi. It is 2 days later. I didn't go into the library yesterday. I was too sick to do it, but I'm feeling a lot better today. And I'm almost done my quilt. And I thought I would share the last few stitches with you and then show you the final result. I'm so proud of myself for this quilt. I think it's so beautiful. I'm so happy with the result. And then I'll show you the next one that I'll be working on. And I can't wait to put this on Kit's bed. I have to go clean his room first and then style it up. And yeah, this is going to be such a nice thing for him. I wanted to mention, my thimble is somewhere else. I have the camera set up to take a picture. But I finally figured out how to use the thimble. Otherwise, I thought it was really annoying, so I was really happy about that. And it's about using it at the same time as pushing the needle through, just in case, on my middle finger. Just in case you're wondering how a thimble works. It's really helpful for those moments. Because otherwise, it's pretty painful. I'm actually just going to go grab it right now. Hold on. Okay. Really excited to have this one done. It took me February till October to put the top together. And then it took me like a couple hours to attach all the pieces together, like all the layers, the top, the batting, and then the bottom, the backing. And then, yeah, until, what is it, February, January, December, 3 months to really knock out the hand quilting, and then this last part, which is the stitching. So here we go, I'm making my knot, and it's done. Let me get my scissors. Well, I'll just show it to you this, and I'll cut it after. But this is it. This is the quilt. All beautiful, and has a plaid backing. I would not recommend a plaid backing, by the way, because it is very hard to keep straight. And then I will show you this next one properly, right side up, which is this way. So this is the top. Yeah, so that's what the back looks like. There you go. So that will be in the background of my next couple of videos. All right, and I will see you next week. Bye.